Good morning, everybody. Sorry for a little bit of delay due to some technical difficulties. Okay, we are up to Perek Tes Mishna Ches, and before we begin, this week's learning has been sponsored by Diane Portnoy in memory of her mother, Tzivia Bas Henach. Okay, Perek Tes Mishna Ches. Mi Shayeloi Perish Shvius, somebody who had Shemitah produce, V'gia Shas Habir. The time for beer arrived. As we said before, beer is an obligation that when a certain species of produce is no more available in the wild for the animals in the wild, whatever you have collected, you have to either immediately consume or remove. So here is how the Mishnah tells us how beer can be performed. Mishayilo Perishvius, somebody who had Shemitah produce, V'gia Shas Habir, and the time for beer arrived. You can divide, you can distribute food that suffices for 3 meals, meaning 3 meals of food. The food that would be sufficient for 3 meals, to each and every one. Now, what does that mean? So the way that's explained is that what you do is you give everyone in your household rations sufficient for 3 meals, and then you apportion the remainder among neighbors, relatives, and acquaintances. That's what you can do. And then whatever is left, you take to the entrance of your house and declare, and this is the words that the Bartanura, the commentary of the Bartanura uses, you declare, my brethren, the house of Israel. Whoever has need to take, let him take. So basically, you start off, or what you could do is, you could take for your needs, which doesn't just include you, and doesn't only just include your household, it can include neighbors and friends and acquaintances, and then whatever's left, you basically declare hefker, ownerless. That's the process. That's how the Rab says the process. The process here, the way I understand it is that the process here is you gotta get rid of it from your domain. It was by you have to get rid of it. How do you get rid of it? You can get rid of it by consuming it. And consuming means to basically ration food sufficient for 3 meals for everyone in your household and for everyone that's your acquaintance. And whatever is left, you then get up and make a declaration. It's ownerless. It's hefker. Whoever wants it, whoever wants it. The wording that's used is whoever needs. But basically, whoever wants it can come and take it. My understanding is if you don't want to distribute it to everyone, you can just make this declaration of hefker, making it ownerless. That also suffices. But this is what the Bartanura is telling us you can do when you do beer. You can distribute it amongst people that you know, giving each person enough food for 3 meals. And then the rest, you make a declaration of hefker for anyone to come take it. Now, the Mishnah then says, now, after you declare it ownerless, who can take it? So according to the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, which is the first opinion cited here in the Mishnah, it is the poor, the needy who eat, who can partake of this once beer is done, but not those who are rich, not those who are not considered poor. And this is very interesting. The question here revolves around the psukim of the Torah, because actually the way the Torah says it is, the Torah says, and the poor of your people shall eat, implying that Shemitah produce will be eaten only by the poor, not by the rich. Now, the problem is that we know that we've mentioned this before, that during the Shemitah year, anything that grows during Shemitah, you're not allowed to tell people you can't come and take it, it's mine. You have to let anybody come. Your fields have to be open for anyone to be able to come and take from this. You can't say it's only for the poor. It could be for anyone. And here we're saying after beer, it's only for the poor. And the answer is that the law about Shemitah is that your field has to be open for anyone who wants to come and take. After beer, though, it only belongs to the poor. That's according to Rabbi Yehuda. At the same time, Rabbi Yehuda agrees that if you're declaring this hefker, if the process of biur is to declare it ownerless, when you declare something ownerless, you're declaring it ownerless for everyone. From your part, the hefker, when you declare that I don't have ownership on this anymore, even after I collected it, when I did have ownership, my declaration of ownerlessness is for anyone. It's not mine. Anybody could take it. It's a Torah that says the only people who may take it are the poor. That's according to Rabbi Yehuda. So we've got, according to Rabbi Yehuda, the pasuk that tells us before biur that everyone's entitled. Once it's after biur, only the poor are entitled. That's the first opinion of the Mishnah. Rabbi Yossi says, Echad aniyim ve'echad ashirim, whether we're talking about the needy, whether we're talking about people that are rich, vayichlin achar habiur, anyone can eat it after biur, after you render it ownerless. Anybody, even somebody who is not in need, can come and acquire it. As we mentioned before, there is a question that even now the halach Rabbi Yossi, it's not only the poor that can take it after biur, anybody can take it after biur. The question is, how about you? You who were the person who declared it ownerless, could you basically declare it ownerless and take it back? According to most opinions, yes, you could. That Rabbi Yossi said that even those who are not needy can eat from biur, meaning they could acquire it after it's declared ownerless. That Rabbi Yossi, who says that could even apply to anyone, even not to the poor, that even includes the owner himself. That's machlekes rishonim, but according to most opinions, even the owner himself can take it back after he declares it ownerless through biur. Okay, that's the end of the Mishnah. Now for the Sefer HaMitzvot, mitzvah lamed dalid, mitzvah lo yaseh shalignav shum chayfetz mammon, prohibition against stealing any object or money. Shenamar, as the pasuk says, lo yisignoivu, you shall not steal. Now, yesterday we had lo yisignoiv of the 10 Commandments with the Sefer Adibris. Today is a pasuk in Parshas Kadeshim that we read a couple of weeks ago, which says lo tignoivu, you shall not steal. Here, lo tignoivu that we're reading today is talking about stealing, regular stealing. Yesterday, we were talking about kidnapping. Halav hu mishava pruta ulamayla. This prohibition takes effect in its fullest from something that has the value of a pruta and up. In order to, I'm going to use the word fully transgress, lo tignoivu, do not steal, you have to steal something of value. How much value? The minimum value that the Torah gives to something is a pruta. That was the smallest coin in the times of the Mishnah. If you convert that into present day money, it's very little. It can be even less than a nickel. From that, if you steal something of that value and up, that's when you transgress this prohibition. And this prohibition applies, says the Chavetz Chaim, Echad Agaynev Mammon Shal Yisrael. If you're stealing money from an adult Jew, Eishal Katan, or from a minor, Eishal Akam, or from a non-Jew. The prohibition applies in all these cases, and you're obligated to pay. Obligated to pay here means that you could actually take this person to Beis Din, to rabbinical court, and through Beis Din, get your money back. At the same time, v'aser lignev kol shehu devar Torah k'mei kol chatzi shir. It is forbidden to steal anything, even less than a pruta, according to Torah law, like any other situation of half an amount. And what that means is like this. When it comes to eating chametz, the Torah told us on Pesach, you're not allowed to eat chametz. How much chametz do you have to eat to transgress Torah prohibition? The answer is kazayas, of olive and olive. And this is something that we find by many prohibitions. There is a shear, there is an amount, there's a measure that's given to how much you have to consume time. There's another rule that says that even half the amount, even less than the amount mentioned, is the Torah also forbids. Which means is that the full liability of the prohibition is when you consume the amount, when you do something with the amount that's given. Nonetheless, even so, less than the amount, the Torah still forbids. You're not allowed to do it. The difference is that basically there isn't going to be any outright, there's not going to be full liability. the Torah forbids you to do less than the amount, but full liability you won't have. So, for instance, if you eat less than a kazayis of chametz on Pesach, you're not going to get lashes for it. If you eat a kazayis, you eat the full volume of an olive, and there are witnesses that saw you do it, you're going to get lashes for it. In the case here, where we're talking about stealing, if you steal a pruta and up, Bezdin can force you to pay it up. If you steal less than a pruta, Bezdin doesn't get involved. At the same time, there is a rule that the Torah still forbids you to do less than the amount. And that's what the Chavetz Chaim means. At the end of the day, you're still not allowed to steal less than a pruta. It's just that the full liability of it, you won't have. It's forbidden to steal something by way of joking. You're trying to play a joke on someone, you steal it. Or you took it for yourself, but you're planning on giving it back. Or I'm going to pay for it. I'm stealing it. I'm taking this thing away. I'm stealing it, but I'm going to pay for it. No, either way, the prohibition applies to all these cases. You're also not allowed to steal something that can be assumed that it was stolen. Something that it can be firmly assumed that this was stolen, you may not purchase it. This applies in all places, at all times, both by men and by women. Now, the next prohibition sounds the same, but this is going, but the difference is going to be, you'll see there's a difference in the wording. A prohibition against robbing someone by force. You shall not do gazela. Meaning we have, the Torah says, do not do the act what's called geneva, which we call stealing, and do not do what's called gazela, which means robbing, which means basically geneva, the guy doesn't know when you're stealing it from the person, he's not aware of it. Gazela is, in front of his face, against his will, you take this thing away from him. And that is included in the prohibition of Olei Sigzal. Isser halav hu misheva pruta l'mayla. Here too, the prohibition applies from something that has the value of pruta and up. Filipachas miza aser, even less than this is forbidden to do this kind of act. Even less than a pruta is forbidden to do this forceful taking away. Like any other thing, any other half of an amount, where we know there's an amount to prohibit for the prohibition to be, there's an amount given to transgress this prohibition, then even less than that is also forbidden. One who does this act of gazela, one steals forcefully from his friend something the value of even just a pruta, it's like you're taking his life. To forcefully go in front of a person, take something away from him, is something that hurts a person so much that our sages consider it as if you're killing him. Not the same way when you steal without him knowing. This applies in all places at all times, both by men and by women. Have a great day. When in the